Hey everyone, welcome to the Fallout Show. My name is Eric Adams, and today we will be talking about the fallout from the Royal Rumble and last night's Monday Night Raw and discuss who will be the six entrants in the men's Elimination Chamber match on March 1st. And we're not just going to be talking about who will be in the match, but how will they do and what this will do for them for WrestleMania and beyond. And why also I think that this will be one of the biggest Elimination Chamber matches in WWE history. If you've been watching the show, I was able to correctly predict the winner of the men's and the women's Royal Rumble. I said that Jey Uso and Charlotte Flair were going to win that. So I have a little bit of good statistics on my side here. So I'm going to bring up the people that I think are going to make it. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Am I correct? Are these six people going to be in the men's Elimination Chamber match? If so, let me know. And also, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. It helps my new podcast out a lot. So the first person we're going to talk about is John Cena. John Cena announced after the Royal Rumble during a very emotional speech that he would be participating in the Elimination Chamber and that he would not be facing a qualifying match to do that. So he for sure is going to be in the Elimination Chamber, and we know that for a fact. If you remember, if you saw the Royal Rumble, he was the second to last person to be in the Royal Rumble. He was eliminated by the winner, Jey Uso, right at the end. And I think that is going to kind of be Cena's story this year. He is in his last year doing wrestling full time, and I think you're going to see Cena come up just short a whole bunch of times, and then at his last match he'll go for the title or something like that. I think that they're going to keep doing that with John Cena, and just like he was the second to last person in the Royal Rumble, I think that he's going to be the second to last person in the Elimination Chamber too, and be eliminated by the eventual winner. I think that, that just makes the most sense for him. That's kind of where it seems like his story is going, that he just, wants this so bad and keeps coming up just a little bit short. And I think that the Elimination Chamber is going to be in continuation of that. So I think that even though he's the first person to qualify, I think that he will also be the last person eliminated. And maybe that will set up a WrestleMania story for him with another person in the Elimination Chamber that I'm talking about in a second. But that's what I see happening for John Cena. Next, we have CM Punk. He qualified after defeating Sami Zayn in a match on Monday Night Raw. He makes the most sense to be in this match. I said that if Jey Uso didn't win the Royal Rumble, I thought it was going to be CM Punk, even though I did think it was going to be Jey Uso, because I think that CM Punk is very marketable right now, and he is going to be in the main event at WrestleMania, and that's why I think that he will be the one that wins the Elimination Chamber and go on to face Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes doesn't really have a definite opponent right now like he did last year with Roman Reigns. He just beat up Kevin Owens, and then Kevin Owens last night went after Sami Zayn, so it feels like Kevin Owens has already moved on and doesn't care about Cody Rhodes anymore, so it makes sense for Cody Rhodes to move on to somebody new too. And CM Punk is kind of the perfect anti-hero for a babyface like Cody Rhodes to go after. So I do think that CM Punk will be not just in the Elimination Chamber, but he's going to win the Elimination Chamber. Sorry about that. And that he is going to take on Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. I'm not sure who's going to win that match. I couldn't say. I could see really either of them winning the match. I mean, Cody Rhodes has been such a good ambassador for the WWE. It would make sense that they would keep him with the belt for more than a year, but and they don't move the belt that much anymore. So we'll see what happens, but I think that there's a very good chance that CM Punk could win the title. But if I had to place money on it, I would probably say Cody Rhodes still beats CM Punk at WrestleMania. So I think the next person that will qualify for the Elimination Chamber is Logan Paul. We found out on Raw last night that he will face Rey Mysterio in a qualifying match next week. Logan Paul and Rey Mysterio have some history together, but I don't think there's any chance that Rey Mysterio beats Logan Paul and goes on to the Elimination Chamber. It would be a huge upset. Logan Paul is just getting back. I think he was the last person to enter the Royal Rumble, and he was, I think, the third last person in. So they're going to push Logan Paul. Logan Paul has a lot of hate behind him, but he also brings a lot of eyes on the WWE whenever he's there. And he has a lot of followers on social media. The WWE definitely wants that kind of exposure for their big events. So expect Logan Paul to be at every PLE and every big, thing that the WWE does, because they want that kind of exposure. And I fully expect Logan Paul to be in the Elimination Chamber. I don't think that he has much of a chance of winning. I don't think Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes, as popular as Logan Paul is, I don't think that's a match that anybody really wants to see, because a lot of people don't, in the wrestling community, don't see Logan Paul as a real wrestler, even though I think he has done some cool stuff in the ring. But obviously, wrestling isn't his main, source of income. So a lot of people hold that against him. But I could see him being in the Elimination Chamber and lasting a while. I actually think he may begin a program with John Cena. I could see John Cena possibly eliminating Logan Paul, and then Logan Paul, making John Cena's life, horrible, until it leads to them fighting at WrestleMania, because Royal Rumble had a lot of instances where it was like passing the torch. It wasn't just in the men's Royal Rumble, it was in the women's Royal Rumble, where they had a lot of the newer stars work with the older stars. I know Roman Reigns and Penta had a little thing that they did together. Sheamus had a real cool moment with Joe Hendry. So it was a lot of like older guys and women, and then kind of passing the torch to the younger stars. So having John Cena versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania, that makes a lot of sense. You're kind of passing the torch a little bit, I guess, from the Attitude Era to whatever this era is, the Netflix era, with John Cena facing Logan Paul. So I kind of think that that's how that's going to go down, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Logan Paul versus John Cena at this year's WrestleMania. The next person that I think will qualify and be in the Elimination Chamber match is Seth Rollins. We learned on Raw last night that he's going to face Finn Balor in a qualifying match next week. Finn Balor is a heck of a wrestler. He's done a lot of great things, but I don't think that any storyline brings him into the Elimination Chamber. So it makes perfect sense that Seth Rollins would do it. Seth Rollins has also started beef with multiple big names since losing his title. Most of them I already mentioned that are going to be in the Elimination Chamber this year. And he went off the rails a little bit after his elimination at the Royal Rumble. That was also one of the most viral moments, when he, had that thing with Roman Reigns where he bounced his head off the outside and then off the stairs as well. I think he did a double foot stomp, which I've never seen him do with both feet. But I think Roman Reigns is fine. But I do think the way that Seth Rollins has been pushed lately, there's no way he's not in the Elimination Chamber match. He was on Raw last night and had a long, thing with Sami Zayn. So I think that for sure that he's going to be in the Elimination Chamber match, and that his appearance will also set up his own WrestleMania match with the next person I'm going to talk about, who is Roman Reigns. I do think that even though they're reporting that Roman Reigns was injured after his attack by Seth Rollins at the Royal Rumble, I don't think that that's really the case. I think Roman Reigns is fine. He walked off on his own 2 feet, and he did some pretty bad acting, like he didn't know where he was and stuff like that. So I think that Roman Reigns is fine. Seth Rollins even made a comment during his appearance on Raw that him, injuring Roman Reigns helps Reigns, keep his limited schedule. And I think that was very true. I think that that's exactly why they're playing off that Roman Reigns is hurt, because they don't want Roman Reigns to, wrestle again before Elimination Chamber. So I think that Roman Reigns could go the John Cena route and not even have a qualifying match and be in the Elimination Chamber. But I really do think that he is going to be in it, because I think that that's going to set up his own match with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Neither of them, I think, are going to fight for a title. Both of them were in the title picture at this point last year. I don't think anybody wants to see Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes again at WrestleMania. Although I do think Roman Reigns versus Gunther may be interesting, but I don't think it's that storyline is there right now. So I think that it will be Roman Reigns in the Elimination Chamber, and him and Rollins are going to go at it. And one of them will probably eliminate the other, and CM Punk will probably clean up whoever is left after that. And that interaction plus what happened at Royal Rumble will lead to them being in maybe like a street fight or some kind of like specialty match at WrestleMania, because they have fought quite a few times. Maybe table, ladders, and chairs, calling back to Seth Rollins with that chair shot on Roman Reigns. But I do think that that's what's going to happen. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and Elimination Chamber is going to set that up. So I know I told you I would give you the 6 people that will be in the men's Elimination Chamber match, but I'm actually going to give you 7. And the reason I'm going to give you 2 names here is because I honestly think that going into Royal Rumble, they had a plan for Elimination Chamber. And because of what happened at Royal Rumble, it might have changed a little bit. And it involves these 2 superstars. And the first one I'm going to talk about is Drew McIntyre. I think that originally, the plan was for him to be in Elimination Chamber. I mean, he's had a beef with virtually every big-name star in the past year, especially Punk, Rollins, and Reigns, who I just mentioned are going to be in the Elimination Chamber. And Drew McIntyre's match with CM Punk is considered by many to be the best of 2024. Him being put into this Elimination Chamber match makes a whole lot of sense. Now, why he may not be in the match is because it's being reported that he was upset with his appearance at Royal Rumble. There's a lot of rumors going on online. The one that I've seen is the most consistent is that he was supposed to be eliminated before Jake Paul even came on, or excuse me, Logan Paul came in the match. And something got messed up. A lot of people are pointing their finger at LA Knight because he kind of had a lot of spots and maybe had more spots than he was supposed to. But if you remember when Drew McIntyre got eliminated, he was eliminated by Damian Priest, which is weird because Damian Priest is now on SmackDown, so him and Drew McIntyre can't really start a program because Drew McIntyre is on Raw. And when they did that, they bumped into Logan Paul and LA Knight, which even though like it seems like the Royal Rumble is so crazy, you don't see that a lot when somebody gets injured, like a bump like that. I remembered when I watched it, I was like, whoa, that definitely wasn't supposed to happen. And because of that, I guess Drew McIntyre's him being eliminated from the Royal Rumble wasn't as impactful, or I don't know, maybe this was. Again, this is all rumors online, so I don't know how much this is true, but multiple people said that Drew McIntyre was irate after his performance and left the building before the match was even over, which is kind of nuts. So I don't know if all that is true. I mean, it was interesting that Drew McIntyre was not on Raw last night. He's been on virtually every Monday Night Raw, especially in the Netflix era. So this could be an inkling that maybe he won't be in the Elimination Chamber now because of his actions or whatever. If he is in the match, and I do think that, like I said, before the Royal Rumble, I think that the plan was for Drew McIntyre to be in the Elimination Chamber, and that may still be the case. And I'm probably 70-30 stating that Drew McIntyre will be in the Elimination Chamber because that was the original plan. If he is in the match, I expect him to, go after Rollins, go after Reigns, and I think that I think that Rollins or Reigns will eliminate the other one, and whoever is left after that will probably get eliminated by Drew McIntyre, who will then be eliminated by CM Punk. CM Punk was supposed to be in WrestleMania last year, but Drew McIntyre injured him. So Drew McIntyre, getting kept out of WrestleMania this year because Punk is eliminating him from Elimination Chamber has some poetic justice to it. And CM Punk is so good on the mic, I'm sure he'll bring that up more than once. So I think that was the original plan. So that could still be the plan, and Drew McIntyre would be the 6th entrant into the Elimination Chamber. But because of what happened at Royal Rumble, I think that there's a good chance that Braun Breaker could be the one that takes Drew McIntyre's spot. Braun Breaker had a great Royal Rumble. The thing about the Royal Rumble is you usually only get like 30 seconds to do something, and you either hit it, you hit your mark, or you don't. And in some cases you don't. I know Zoe Stark in the Women's Royal Rumble, she had a spot where she was supposed to hit one of her flying drop kicks off the rope, and she missed it completely. She slipped off the rope, and it looked really bad. So I was looking forward to Zoe Stark. She's had some momentum recently, and that really hurt her. On the other hand, you have Braun Breaker, who had multiple good spots in the Rumble, had a huge pop when he came out. His dad was there, and he had that moment where he speared the streamer Speed, and that moment got over 300 million views in 24 hours. One of the most viral moments in the history of the WWE. And I mentioned with Logan Paul how the WWE is very keen to that. They want that audience. So the fact that I know that everybody turned into that view. Probably, more than half of the people that the 300 million views were there to see Speed. But Braun Breaker was in that clip too. Braun Breaker was the wrestler that took him out. So that has to raise Braun Breaker's, status. And Breaker had a little moment at Raw last night where he was talking about AJ Styles. So maybe that's setting up something with them. But Braun Breaker has also had a moment with Penta. He's had a lot of spots recently. So I really do think that, this push of him being this like Goldberg style character, but like with a personality, is working for them. And, he's got the IC title. He's the IC champ. A lot of times that's just a stepping stone to get to the WWE title. And I think that maybe the WWE didn't think that Braun Breaker would ascend this quickly. But if it happens, you got to go with it. And the WWE has shown that they will pivot on stuff. You remember WrestleMania last year where it was supposed to be, The Rock doing different things and stuff like that. So I think that what's happening with Breaker right now is not only, I think it's very similar to Tiffany Stratton in 2024. And really, it was the Elimination Chamber that was her big breakout because she was in the Elimination Chamber and the crowd was going nuts for her before she even got on the mat. And that kind of catapulted her to where she is now as the women's champ on SmackDown. So I could see a very similar thing happening with Braun Breaker. I also mentioned how the Royal Rumble had a lot of pass the torch moments, and having both Logan Paul and Braun Breaker in the Elimination Chamber fighting for a spot at WrestleMania, even if neither of them get it, it does, show you like who's going to be leading the company in 5-10 years down the road. So like I said, I think the original plan was Drew McIntyre, but I could totally see the WWE, shifting course and making it Braun Breaker. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Drew McIntyre, Braun Breaker Elimination Chamber qualifying match. That will be a match to watch because at this moment I could not tell you who would win that match. If that's going to happen, I don't know. They could go either way with that. But I do think the original plan was Drew McIntyre, but Braun Breaker may force their hand. But that's what I think. That's who I think will be in the Elimination Chamber this year. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do one for the women's side of the Elimination Chamber. I definitely have thoughts about that as well. There's some interesting things cooking on that side. So let me know. Thank you very much for joining me. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone. Take care.